Chris and Brandon here with the Kabuki Strength team, and we're going to be going through what we call a dead bug press. So this is a play on both a dead bug and a bench press. So it is very different from a traditional bench press in the fact that we are not going to flare at the rib cage. But it's going to require more core stabilization, but we are going to lose the stabilization off the floor at the same time. So there's a few different dynamics going on in this. It can be a very useful tool to vary up your pressing, or perhaps if you're having some shoulder issues, and we can actually reduce the load on the movement and still get a very, very useful training response from it. So it is going to be very much just like a dead bug, and we'll show you that in a minute. And we kind of got turned on to this from our friend Adrian Larson, who has to bench without his feet. So, but we take it a step further. We're going to go up into triple flexion with our legs, and we're going to really focus on having that sternal crunch while we do this movement and the quality of that IAP and being able to hold that and get as much stability out of the core as we can with being in that position, and then do our pressing movement. So Brandon, let's demonstrate here. So Brandon, we're going to be up here about basketball width apart, 90, 90. We don't have the flared or reached rib cage. So this is not something that you're going to want to do with a new lifter if you're actually working on developing them into a performance press pattern, because it's going to not be teaching some of the stuff that we want to develop their press if you're teaching that pattern. But this is going to be more of an intermediate or advanced technique where you're not going to be worried so much about changing their patterns, because they're going to have those patterns for the good press ingrained. And then he's got, again, that nice quality inflation. Make sure you watch our dead bug series, but we check it here. You've got to be able to have this, to hold this, to be able to perform this press. So go ahead and press. And back up. So this is going to focus everything into those pressing muscles, because we're going to have not as much of the lat engagement. There will be some, but you're not actually going to be able to have enough where it's actually pulling that rib cage up into position. And it's really going to highlight and bring out those pressing muscles and really target that engagement with the core stabilization. So from a functional pattern standpoint, this is probably more of a functional pattern bench press for your athletes, if you've got athletes in other sports doing this, or doing even a more traditional that with one leg actually on the floor, one-sided dumbbell press with body off the bench. So Brandon, do you have any additional thoughts on this?
Well, I think this is kind of an interesting one for a lot of reasons. One, we use this a lot for people who have spinal issues. Instead of having their feet grounded to the floor, this allows the spine to be a little bit more neutral. But we talk a lot about the wall bug, right? And a lot of it is in relation to the squat and how we hold that bar on our back. But this is an excellent exercise to follow up our wall bugs with if they happen to fall during a pre-bench training session.
Yeah, I should have said that on the outset, but anybody that gets aggravated through going into too much extension, this is a great regression pattern. Actually, it's not even a regression, because you're still able to move forward.
Yeah.
You can still make progress on your bench press while doing this movement. So if you need to do this for 8 weeks while you recover so that you can get into the extension without pain, you can still move forward here. So this is a great movement for to continue moving that if you've got some issues, spine issues that are aggravated.
And you're just going to get brutally strong pressing with a semi-flat back. You know, you're definitely not missing out on any of the strength benefits of, grounding yourself to the floor, albeit you'll be able to press more weight. But this is definitely an acceptable training modality.
Absolutely, I've worked it into my program, and it works. So it can also be done post as an assistance exercise. So let's say you're training heavy on a traditional bench press, and then afterwards you're going to do 3 sets of 8 with this, or do this as your accessory day if you're benching twice a week. Do your performance bench on one day, and then later in the week you can again hit some volume or some repetition work with this as your movement. Can be a great play. So, all right, We're signing out. Have fun with the dead bug press.